Dog, tell me I'm not gonna win this match because of this. Maxi challenge. I'm not gonna say anything, but if Drytron loses to you are so good at Yu-Gi-Oh! Sending an Eva, man, that's a big resource for you, because now Eva doesn't proc, right? You don't have... Did you just banish your ultimateness? Tell me you didn't just banish your ultimateness. He just banished his ultimateness! What are you... Okay. Do they still have the perfection? What are you gonna make here that's so crazy that it was worth banishing your ultimateness? Are you just monkey clicking? What are you doing? What are you doing, dog? Hey! Dark Magician! Dark Magic Attack! Hello, YouTube. Today I'm going to be diving into Dark Magicians. This deck is surprisingly strong. I ended up having an 100% win rate with this deck list that I have in front of you out of like 7 games I played at Plat 1. Again, that doesn't really mean anything. It just really depends on what opponents you're facing and how slow and carefully you play. Again, especially in Master Duel, a lot of players with the low ranking aren't that crazy good. So if you take the time to learn this deck and you play slow and cautiously, you are going to be winning a lot of matchups because this deck is just so strong because Konami has given it so much good support. Again, it's not going to be like topping tournaments or doing anything absolutely insane, but if you play well, like, you're going to crush a lot of meta decks with this strategy. Again, the only way you're beating Drytron going second is if you draw the Max C, but like Tri Brigade and Prank Kids and stuff like that, like, you can realistically break their board and take out wins. Anyways, I'm gonna stop babbling. I got timestamps down below. Again, if you always want to see them, feel free to drop a like and subscribe. It means the world to me when you do. So I'm asking you to drop a homie a favor every once in a while, and if you like the video, feel free to like and subscribe. Yeah, no pressure. A little bit of pressure. A lot of bit of pressure. But anyways, I'm gonna quit talking. I'm gonna get right into the deck profile. Hopefully you guys enjoy what you see. Going into the card by card for this Dark Magician deck, it's 3 copies of Dark Magician. Again, completely mandatory. You can't really cut this card down, not only because it's searchable and you want to have as much draw power as possible, but because sometimes you will be banishing them, and if your opponent banishes them, you need to have as many readily available as possible, otherwise you're just going to lose the game, and you don't want to lose the game because you didn't splurge on the most important resource in your deck, even though this is kind of a semi-brick. 3 copies of Magician's Soul. This is the best card in the deck because this is the only way you can actually really play if you're going second. The issue that Dark Magician really has is that they can't get the banishes off if they're going second, especially with the trap card lineup, or at least it's very tricky and resource heavy to do so. So having the Magician's Soul, which not only lets you put your Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl in the graveyard if you feel like it, it also just lets you special summon immediately, which is really insane because it's a monster reborn, but it lets you send the card from deck 2, which is really strong. 3 copies of Maxi. Again, Maxi is just the best card in the deck. If you could afford to run 3, you should run 3. This is the rogue list hand trap lineup, but luckily we have room for 3 Maxis, even though the other ones are 2. This one's just so important to see. 3 copies of Magician's Rod. Again, I said this during the Dark Magician Girl deck profile in the description if you want to check it out. It really is a card that just says, please play our archetype. This card is an insanely good searcher for what it is, and it's just because Konami really wanted people to play Dark Magician. 2 copies of Ash Blossom, probably the second best hand trap in the game. Again, it's a shame that we don't have a lot of room in this deck to run a bunch of cards, but Ash Blossom at 2 is fine because running Maxi at 3. 1 copy of Dark Magician Girl. This is one of the 2 most cuttable cards in the deck. If you want to cut Dark Magician Girl, Bond, and Dark Burning Magic, go ahead and just put in another copy of Secret Village and another copy of Skill Drain. But again, Dark Magician Girl is just so iconic, and you're already playing Dark Magicians, you might as well have fun with it, right? No point in being nitty-gritty. This deck can already win pretty well at Plat 1, so why take away the fun for a tiny bit more consistency? 3 copies of Apprentice Illusion Magician. I see a lot of decks cut this down to like 1 or 2 copies. Why? This is one of the best Dark Magician cards straight up ever printed. This card's so insane. Not only is it the searcher, not only does it set up your graveyard, but also it lets you get into easy link and climb plays. It's really consistent, really strong, and the attack boost comes up a lot and saves you against a lot of decks. 1 copy of Terraforming, again, just to have more consistency, thin the deck a little bit more. 1 copy of Dark Magic Attack. While this card's pretty underwhelming and Feather Duster would typically be better, this card is searchable, and that's why we run it over the Feather Duster, but it's questionable how good it is. It's also nice that it searches off Eternal Soul. If it didn't search off of Eternal Soul, I would not run this card in the deck. 1 copy of Bond versus Teacher and Student. Again, one of those cuttable cards, but this card is just so fun to resolve, and such a powerhouse swing card when you do get to resolve it, that I wouldn't cut it down personally in my list. Again, if you really don't like it, extra copy of Secret Village and Skill Drain, but this card is just so incredibly cool. It lets you bring out your Dark Magician Girl from the graveyard or the deck, and set up your Dark Burning Magic Attack. It's just insanely dope, man. 2 copies of Secret Village of the Spellcaster, searching it off of Terraforming, so it's technically 3 copies. Crazy card. Floodgates are insane in Yu-Gi-Oh! You get to lock your opponent out of monster effects and lock them out of spell effects. This card is disgusting. 3 copies of Dark Magical Circle, probably the best Dark Magician card, like, ever. While it's not the most powerful card, this is the card that makes the whole deck work. Without this card, the deck doesn't work because this is your only form of removal that you have. This just destroys boards. Banish, even though it's targeted, is just so strong. Dark Burning Magic, again, it's so cool to resolve this card, and so easy to resolve too with the bond between teacher and student combo. But like, this card is just insane because wiping your entire opponent's field on a quick play spell is really, really nasty, especially if you set this up going first. Like, your opponent's not going to stand a chance. Like, Eldritch isn't going to do anything about this. They're just going to die. Like, so many decks just hard lose to this if you time it well when you use it, and oh boy, it swings games. 3 copies of Soul Servant, Sky Striker, Mobilize, Engage, but for Dark Magicians, a little bit slower, but man, this card is insane. Potentially draws you up to 3, can only draw you 2 in this deck, but like, setting up other effects, the quick play aspect synergizes with so many other cards in the deck, like Dark Magicians and the Dark Magical Circle. This card is just absolutely absurd. Love this card. Hope it's cheaper in real life soon. 3 copies of Secret Dark Magic. Again, the fusion spell lets you unbreak your hands, bring out the Dark Magicians, and typically you can even use the graveyard for resources, although you typically don't want to vanish your stuff too much, so be a little bit careful of that. The fact that it's quick play really helps you OTK. This deck is insanely good at OTKing, and again, just a really powerful card. 1 copy of Magician's Navigation. It makes me really sad to run this at 1, but again, it's not really mandatory at more because it's searchable, and you typically, because of Magician Souls, you're not seeing them in hand too often, but the spell and trap negate, that you could just negate anything, you could negate a lightning storm and stuff like that, can easily win you games because this deck really suffers against back row removal. 2 copies of Infinite Permanence just for that rogueless hand trap lineup. 2 copies of Skill Drain, drain the skill from your matches. Don't always just shotgun this because if your opponent can make an easily accessible big monster, you'll lose, but against decks like Tri Brigade and such, this is just an auto win, and you just win the second you flip this. And 2 copies of Eternal Soul. I've always liked this less than Magician's Navigation, but it's just a little better for consistency-wise. Not my favorite card, but summoning from the graveyard is really strong. Just be really careful, because if this card gets... You need to be really, really patient with this card, because if it gets destroyed, you basically just lose the game, and as sucky as a trade-off that is, it is worth it just because of how strong it is. 3 copies of the Dark Magician. You could cut this down, honestly, to 2 or maybe even 1 if you're really trying to budget this out, but sometimes it comes up at multiple copies, and you'll miss it. So if you have the extra copies, run it. Don't antagonize yourself if you don't have them, but it is a really powerful card. Its effect to immediately activate the trap card, that you draw off of it, comboing with Soul Servant, is insane and can get you a lot of cheesy OTKs. 1 copy of Strike Bouncer. Bouncer and Norito don't come up very often. We just run them because we have extra space in the extra deck, and it's pretty easy to make with the Apprentice Illusion Magician. If you want to play 13 cards, go ahead and cut a couple copies of the Dark Magicians, Bouncer, or Norito until they fix the DD Dynamite combo. Doing that will just get you a lot of extra cheesy wins because DD Dynamite will just lose. 1 copy of Big Eye. Big Eye is just a permanent change of heart. 1 copy of Ebon Illusion Magician. Just an easy way to bring out an extra copy of Dark Magician if you need to and get one in the graveyard. Red Eyes Metal Flare Dragon. If you can't exactly finish off the game but you get your opponent pretty low, Red Eyes Metal Flare Dragon will make sure your opponent doesn't try to play Yu-Gi-Oh! On the following turn because it'll just burn them for even breathing. Ebon High Magician. This one doesn't come up very often, but again, you have a lot of flex spots in the extra deck, so you might as well have it. And just lets you play around back row a little bit more. 1 copy of Zeus. Zeus is very good. We run a lot of Xyz, and you could overlay over Norito, so Zeus is just an insane card, and you should be running it into any deck that runs Xyz. Cerberus to generic link 2 to remove things. Phoenix, generic link 2 to remove things, stop those floodgates. Unicorn, generic link 3 to remove things and for access code. Selene, because we are an all spellcaster deck, and the Monster Reborn sometimes comes up because you Monster Reborn a Dark Magician and proc Dark Magical Circle. And access code just to finish games, and again, it's easier to get into because of Selene. And that's basically the whole deck. Anyways, I'm not going to ramble too much. I'm going to go ahead and get into some gameplay. Hopefully you guys enjoy what you see. I can't win a coin flip. Y'all about to get the footage of the first 3 games, because I cannot win a coin flip. They're all wins anyways. I just wanted a more interesting match, but bro, I promise you, if I kept record, and I guess I record, but I think my like win rate for coin flips is like 20%. Oh, it's Tri Brigade. That's fine. If they don't have the crazy B starter, Imperm single-handedly shuts them down. So they're gonna search Karas here if they're like moderately competent. But we'll see. I never trust my opponents to be competent. Let's see what they got, Holmes. See what you can make. But I know my opponents, so I'm not going to get too excited. Okay, they are searching the Keras. I know my opponents, so I'm not going to... Yeah, okay, so they're opening with the Keras here. This is something I always gripe about in these videos, because you don't ever open with the extender. The extender is making you go minus. What are you trying to make that's so valuable? And of course, he throws the crow, man. Such a good opening. Odds are he still has more nonsense. How many are you going to banish? If he banishes 4 here, game's over. No, it's always 2. I do still need to stop this. That's a shame. If he was really greedy, I should have toggled off actually, but made him go for the 4. Would have been huge, huge. This hand kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you. This hand in the business is what we call not good. But it can be good. So we're going to go ahead and summon out Apprentice Illusion. I really got to think about what the least valuable card here is. And I don't think there's any way we get Bond to go off here. So I think it's got to be Bond. It hurts me to get rid of you, but they definitely have a hand trap in hand. So this is a little rough, but whatever. I'm not exactly going to complain if my opponent stops a Apprentice Illusion Magician from resolving. Ooh, yeah, so you don't really want to stop Apprentice Illusion? Okay, I think I just won because of that, actually. Okay, pop, fuse, pop. Do I play around Gamma? No, we don't play around Gamma. Because even if he Gammas us, it's on his turn, so it ain't the biggest deal. Alright, so Crash. And this is one of the things that makes this deck so crazy, too. There's so many good quick effects. What do you have in hand that you're trying to do? So now we're going to go ahead and Secrets of the Dark Magician, fusioning with things from the hand and field, so nothing gets banished. That kind of sucks, but it's not the end of the world. It's a 1-for-1, sure. I'm not sure why he didn't do it on Apprentice Illusion Magician, but we don't question meta players here. Even though I'm a meta player, you know, people just don't play well. That's all y'all need to know. We're gonna go ahead, play into Mech Knight to play around Relinquished, even though I know this deck doesn't run it. Get my licks in real quick. Then I'm gonna go ahead and Soul Servant now. Because it's gonna let me draw the Dark Magical Circle now. And this is gonna let me draw Monster Cardo off of this, even though it's not a monster card. If it was a trap card, I could have used it immediately. We're gonna go ahead and search off this first things first. That's a nice one. Again, not live currently, doesn't really matter. It's still a crazy good card. And I will take a Maxi because I'm about to draw. And Maxi is just that busted. That's what I love about the circle. Like, it lets you stack your deck. And that's just one of the craziest effects that you could possibly have in Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and set this whole hand. Now I got a Banish set up. I have a Maxi set on. Tri Brigades don't have a way to actually quick summon. Like, from hand. They're not going to Kaiju me. So I'm gonna hold off on the Maxi because again, I don't want to play into some like random Gamma that they happen to have. See if they banish my Dark Magician would be a better question. And Tri Brigade gets stomped here. Like, there is no coming back from Tri Brigade, even if they have the Lightning Storm. Oh, they can't even use it. There's nothing Tri Brigade to do here. Because not only do I have the Maxi to draw, the second that they summon anything, I just banish it with Eternal Soul. And that's the thing, Tri Brigade's normal summon is so vulnerable, dog. So my opponent just got clean cooked out of town. Hate to break it to you, Saki, but you gonna be crying at the end of this. That's fine. I don't care. Go ahead and Tenki. Even if it's a Zodiac, who cares? I mean, go ahead and Zook. Oh, okay. I'm gonna let them summon off of the Trident just so I could get draws. I know I said I'm playing around Gamma, but they don't have Gamma. Hash Blossom! Probably wanted to save that for the Maxi, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie, saving that for the Maxi might have been a little more valuable. I'm fine with this. Now, go ahead, play under Maxi. So not only are they gonna give me card advantage, I'm gonna just banish their card. Yeah, instant draining here is a bit of a problem. And just like that, it's too easy! Dark Magician's too good! So, man, these games have been so easy. I didn't think Dark Magicians would be this good. I'm still partial to Dark Magician girls, but you know, that's just because I'm dumb and down bad. And that has been Dark Magicians. Man, I'm still surprised this did so well. I absolutely destroyed my opponents with this, man. Like, I shouldn't have gone this well. 7-0? Like, come on. I wish all of the gameplay was usable, but like, again, I'm trying to not keep these too long. Hopefully y'all enjoy the deck list. If y'all have any questions about how to play the deck, or what deck you want to see less, as always, drop it down in the comments below. Y'all ain't been commenting. I'm gonna say that right now. Y'all ain't been commenting enough, and I's not having it. Y'all better start commenting a little bit more. I'm just kidding. You guys can feel free to do whatever you want. Again, the comments do mean a lot to me, but like, there's no obligation. I really just appreciate each and every one of you for even being here and watching this video. But that said, if you want to drop a comment, it really helps the algorithm. And I'm trying right now to buy a microphone so my quality doesn't sound that bad, but I'm like a broke college student. So like, if I could hit 250 subscribers, like I would be a lot more encouraged. That's all I'm saying. I ain't insinuated nothing. I'm just saying. Anyways, thank you for watching. It's been the blast doing this deck, and I should be covering a Jinzo deck fairly soon, along with the giant ballpark plays, but I'm a procrastinating idiot, so who knows. Anyways, thank you for watching. This has been Rojas, signing out.